Welcome back. Today's lesson is area of trapezoids, same learning target that we've been studying, 6G1, solve real-world and mathematical problems involving area. Today's I can statement, I can calculate the area of a trapezoid or find one of its missing measurements.
Oh.
Ooh.
So here's one of our trapezoids. From our parallelogram lesson, remember we did base times height in order to find our area. The problem with the trapezoid is one where it only has one set of parallel sides, so the two bases, the top and bottom, have different lengths. So if we were just trying to do it with...
Wait, is this a trapezoid?
That's
a phone.
it's quadrilateral.
It's a really
quadrilateral.
old phone.
Is it a square? It is an old phone.
It's quadrilateral.
What about this? Is this
Can
a
a rectangle
trapezoid?
be a square or a square be a rectangle?
Ooh,
She's got to think about that
Can a
one.
rectangle be a square? Yes. Can a
No,
square be
a
wait,
rectangle
can't be a square, but a square can be a rectangle.
Yeah.
Yes. What about this? Is that a trapezoid?
I don't think we covered
That looks like a
shit.
water bottle.
7th grade covers cylinders.
It's almost a cylinder.
Okay.
All right. So if we were to use our 4 as our base, we'd only be finding the area of the small portion inside. If we use the 6, we'd be finding too much of an area. So our formula is going to be a little bit different for trapezoids. So a good way to think about it is, what if we put two trapezoids together?
What
We
do you
slid them
know?
together and notice what shape it makes. We've now made a parallelogram that has a base of 10. We added the two bases together to get the base for the whole thing. Then we would multiply times our height, but because it was two different shapes that made that parallelogram, we're going to divide by 2 to find the area of just one of them at the very end. So we're going to add the two bases together to find the base of the two combined.
Dude,
I'm really bad at this today.
you are.
It's our
Are you
guest.
writing for me today?
Yeah, your writing's awful. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and write this one.
All right, so we're going to call those two bases base 1 and base 2. And the height of a trapezoid is the distance between them. Base 1 and base 2.
Between the bases.
Our formula, like Mr. McKenzie just got done saying, is going to be base 1.
I know you
Plus,
like the fraction version.
I do. I didn't think you'd put
You'd
it
be really
down.
impressed. Usually I dot that and it always becomes B with an I instead of a 1. I'm happy.
So base 1 plus base 2 times the height and dividing by 2. Whether you multiply by 1/2 or divide by 2, you are using the same formula. You are confusing me today.
Well, I just wanted to write it two different ways. You like the whole fraction
I do.
fancy thing. I just like dividing by 2.
All right, which one are you going to go with next problem?
I'll take the easy one. So start with our formula. Our formula is base 1 plus base 2. So we're going to add the two bases together, the sides that are parallel. We're going to multiply times our height, and then we're going to come back and divide it by 2.
I do a trapezoid, right? Trapezoid?
That's a very nice trapezoid.
Thank you.
You need 3 on the top, 6 on the bottom.
So here's our two bases, 3 and 6. So we're going to do 3 plus 6 in parentheses. Then we're going to multiply times our height, which is 4, and then we're going to come back and divide by 2. 3 plus 6 is 9, times 4 is 36, divided by 2 gives us an area of 18 centimeters squared.
Oh, I'm writing.
Ooh,
can't
you
keep
left
it
me
away.
with the decimal one.
Yes,
Maybe we'll
I
make
did.
them do
You
that
want
one
to
instead.
study that one a little bit? I don't like your blue.
She's going to pick red like always.
Always 1/2 times 7 plus 14. It doesn't matter if the shape's upside down. You're looking for those two bases to add together. We're multiplying it by the height of 5.
So look for that right angle to find your height.
Ooh, 14 plus 7 is 21. 21 times 5. The half thing isn't working out for me with my odd numbers.
I'm all right with that.
Is 105. I'm going 105 divided by 2.
Remember, 1/2 is the same thing as just dividing it by 2.
Yeah,
She's
it's
going to
not,
need a little decimal in this one, I think.
yeah, it's not working out for me very well here.
I bet my decimal one works out really nicely.
I got 10 at the end, so I need a 52.5. Now I got to squeak it over here. 52.5 inches squared. If you try fractions, good for you.
If you didn't, that's okay too.
Is that
All
really
right.
enough room?
Next one, I think I can fit it in there. Same thing. You're going to add the two bases together, multiply times our height, and then divide by 2. So I'm going to do 9/10 plus
Yeah.
4/10. Mrs. King's going to double check my math.
Um,
Times 8/10, and then I'm going to come back and divide by 2. 9/10 and 4/10 is 1.3, or 1 3/10, times my 0.8, So I'm going to do some quick math, and I get 104. There's 2 decimal places in my problem, so I want 2 decimal places in my answer. Am I good so far?
You are.
So I get 1.04. Last step is to divide by
You doing a mental math? No.
Put my decimal in there. 2 goes into 10 5 times.
I don't think you are.
And then 2 goes into 4 2 times. And I get an answer of 0.52. So 52 hundredths. We're dealing with meters, so it's going to be meters squared.
Okay, if you're comfortable, you can try the next 2 in your note packet on the back page by yourself. If you need to hear us do it, keep going. Ooh,
You want
it's
this
turned
one?
sideways.
Is it time for a commercial?
You
So
wanna
those
do the
people
next
can
one?
sign off?
You did
You can come
problem.
through the next one. Talk us through it. So, Mrs. Carino, what are my bases in this particular problem?
7 and 26.
So notice they weren't on the top and bottom, but they are the 2 sides that are parallel to each other.
Because they're parallel.
What's my height going to be?
12.
12. Always look for that right angle. And then what do we always have to make sure to do at the end of a trapezoid problem?
Divided by 2.
Divide by 2.
You could divide by 2 at first before you get started if you want.
So Mrs. King pointed out a nice part. We can actually do the 12 divided by 2 right now, kind of take care of that early, and then multiply it times the other piece. So if you notice your height's something that divides nicely by 2, go ahead and tackle that right away, and then come back and finish the rest of the problem. So what is 7 plus 26?
33. My age.
You look good for your age.
I try.
33
my hair
times
gray.
6. Look at that. Mrs. Carino knew our answer. What are our units going to be?
Units squared. Inches squared.
Inches squared. All right, next one. You probably looked at this problem and saw that fraction and immediately gave up and said, no, I don't want to do that problem at all. But don't worry about it. The one thing you do have to look at is we have this extra measurement over here of 5. This is one of those that we just want to get rid of. Remember, our 2 bases are the sides that are parallel to each other. Our height is the one that's at the right angle. It's not the slanted side to our shape. So go ahead and add them together. 4 plus 9 are 2 bases. Multiply times our height. If
Would
you'd
this
rather
be
write
easy
this
one
as
as a decimal?
this would be a great one as a decimal. So 3.5 instead of 3 1/2. And then we always come back and divide by 2. Yeah, you gave us an ugly one here. 4 plus 9 is 13 times 3.5. Oh, that should be a 15 and a 6. Don't forget to start that second row with a 0, a 9, and a 3. Add it up, and I get 455. There's 1 decimal point in the problem, so there's 1 decimal point in my answer. So 45.5. I think I'm good so far.
Except for I don't have any done.
Yeah, don't pay any attention to Mrs. King's work. And then last step is 45.5 divided by 2. 2 goes into 4 2 times. 2 goes into 5 2 times, which gives me 4. Left with a 15. 2 goes into 15 7 times. Pardon my scratch work down here, so I'm going to add a 0 at the end. 2 goes into 10 5 times. So we get an area of 22.75 yards squared. Did I get it right?
Yep.
Don't.
Good thing Mrs. King wasn't helping us on this problem.
So, what can you say?
All right, Mrs. King, talk us through this last one.
We need to write down
If we
our
can actually
formula.
see you in the picture. I don't know if you'll be able to see you or
I
not.
don't know. You need to write the formula down because we're working backwards. We need to plug in what we know in this problem and tackle it as an equation. So
this is like Jeopardy.
yeah,
We already know the answer and we have to find the
we
question.
do. 150 needs to be where the area is.
I think we should label our drawing here so they can see which measurements
You
go
better
where.
get going. Base 1 is 14. Base 2 is 16. We don't know the height. So, in our formula, we have 150 is equal to 14 plus 16, h, and then divided by 2. So, we are going to add 14 and 16 together. We now have 30h divided by 2 is equal to 150. So, I think we should do the 30 divided.
Yep, do
I
whatever
do,
math we can
personally.
over on this side.
All right, so we got 15h now is equal to 150, and many of you can
I
figure
know
that
where this
out
is going.
mentally. Either way, we're dividing both sides by 15 to undo that one-step equation, and we now have h equals 10. Be careful on your labels. It's 10 meters, not meters squared.